Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we're covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from July 20th, 1991. It is the Happy New Year version of BTT, whereas we go into the new year, it'll be no new year, new me for us, just the same old Outlaw Mud Show production that you've come to expect over the last 7.5 years now. That's getting scary. Almost 8 years of this nonsense. I am sitting here with Doc and not hard body Harper. You know, flips and dives schedule wise. We got the holidays on us right now, so we're trying to move things around because of commitments. And Doc's got to go to church and plays and stuff for his family and all that good stuff. So Doc, how are you? No superstar, but he'll be back next week, or he should be. But he was on the pay-per-view.
Well, it's always a true mystery ride with the superstar. That's, you buy the ticket, you take the ride. I'm getting over a little Christmas sniffles. Nothing bad, but you're going to get 100 messages. Tell Doc not to blah, blah, blah. Well, I had a little Christmas cold, and there it is. I'm doing great otherwise, though. We're recording this the week before Christmas, but it comes out the week after Christmas.
Yeah. Or a few days after, like December 29th or 30th, something like that.
Yeah. And so just hope everybody out there had a season's greetings, happy holidays, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. Just remember, don't get all persnickety. If somebody's nice enough to wish you a good day, say thank you.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like, why people get mad. Oh, I know.
Hey, I'm
why,
trying to be nice to
into
you,
a shoot.
and you're upset about it. That's you know which gender that sounds like.
Yeah, we had an instance over here at this house this morning with that. But go ahead, continue, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to try to get everybody ready for 2023. Get your mind right with all the things you need to do to be a better you, or the same you, or just keep being you next year. But we're also going to try to be somewhat topical here. And there's something going on in podcast world. Now, you don't faithfully listen to every wrestling podcast that comes out like I do. Is that correct?
Correct. And I want you to I'm going to actually drop this part on the YouTube channel early, so it's more topical than it would be if it, came out a week and a half from now. But you have been the one telling me about this beef between two well-known podcasts and well-known personalities. So please go into this, because I haven't heard any of this. I'm only getting this from you. So
okay, and
set the stage, and we'll come.
And I have some thoughts, and whatever I get wrong, make sure you send Mike a message and to tell Doc that he got this wrong.
Thoughts and prayers, Bubba.
Thoughts and prayers. T's and P's.
Yeah.
So we have a little riff going between Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff, which puts the mortgage man squarely in the middle, which can't be fun unless it's not real. So I was pretty sure that this was a work, but I've started to maybe change my thoughts on that. So where it all started, in my opinion, is back at the Flair whatever. They had the roast. They roasted him.
Oh, God. Somebody got worked into a shoot at a roast. Wow.
I think Rick got a little worked up when Bischoff roasted him.
Oh, come on.
Well, I think it uncovered some old wounds. And, that weekend was about Rick's place in history. And all of a sudden, the guy who questions and challenges that started poking fun. The other thing that I think is maybe part of that is the major beef they had was also tied to Rick going to see his now deceased son wrestle.
Russell?
Yeah, he was an amateur wrestler. Reed?
You mean Reed? Okay. I'm getting confused when you said Russell. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
And maybe that brings up some bad memories for Rick as well.
I can understand that. I mean, you know.
We can't imagine.
Never,
right.
I got no idea how it is to lose a kid. I mean, that's
right.
just the most terrible of
so
terrible.
Rick's been saying things over the last few months on his podcast, little jabs like, yeah, Eric doesn't know. And so I'm not sure who started what. But Bischoff said something like, Rick never drew money, so he went to WWF and didn't draw money and came back and didn't draw money, and that's why I had to go get Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that's BS. I mean, if you want to blame not drawing money on anything, Ric Flair drew money in his career, but you can't say you had to go get Hogan because Ric Flair couldn't draw money when the entire promotion was on its ass from years of mismanagement, starting with the era we're in right now with Jim frickin' Herd.
He also said that the Horsemen were a regional set of superstars.
Yeah, it's more BS.
Yeah.
From Bischoff. Look,
right.
I'll take up for him when I need to, but this time no. The Horsemen were not regional superstars. I mean, get the flying, out of here.
And Conrad's like, really? Come on, dude.
Yeah, for real.
And so Conrad was like, look, JCP made money until they didn't.
Right.
And so when you say WCW never made money, you're talking about 4 or 5 years. But before that the remnants of what you inherited did make money.
At some point, it made money. It made a lot of money.
And if you're so great, why did you run WCW out of business?
Yeah, that's the other side of it, because while you may have been there for record profits, it went downhill. Now, I'm not going to put that all on you. We know what the AL Time Warner did to it. So, but the bottom line is, hey, you were at the helm of that. So own your, garbage too.
And so Conrad was like, Eric's defense is they didn't want wrestling, so there was nothing we could do. And Conrad said, if y'all made enough money, it wouldn't have mattered what you did.
I agree with Eric, actually. I don't know. Eric's got a point. Like, it's not all on him, the reason why it went downhill, but at the end of the day, you were the lead dog.
So this is important what you're doing here. This is interesting. Most arguments like this aren't who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad. There's valid points to be made on either side.
That's exactly how life usually works, but people don't want to recognize that sometimes.
Exactly.
At the same time, Bischoff is full of shit when he says Ric Flair couldn't draw money and he had to bring in Hogan. That is just absurdity. I mean,
and to that point, on his podcast, Rick said Eric didn't do shit. He didn't know Hogan. Hogan wouldn't have talked to him.
That's a fact.
I went and got Hogan. I called
that story's been told. Yeah.
Rick said that Bischoff was worse than Herd. I don't know that that's true.
But wait, who said Bischoff was worse than Herd?
Rick.
I mean, that's just prisoner of the moment type thought from Ric Flair, in my opinion, because we all know how much he hated Jim Herd, and
right.
Yeah, I can't go along with Bischoff on that stuff.
And so, we're relitigating something that's been well documented. Bischoff standing up in the locker room said the only 3 people that have ever drawn a dime in this business are Piper, Savage, and Hogan.
That's funny.
With Rick in the room.
With Flair in the room. Do you think Bischoff has ever watched, the
Well, that's
Crockett stuff
another
from
story.
85, 86? I
No,
mean,
he's not a
that's
fan. He's not a
exactly.
fan of
So
wrestling. He's a fan of he's a fan of TV.
you're speaking out of turn, dude. You don't know. He doesn't know that. It's just. Yeah.
He's not a fan of wrestling. He's a fan of TV. And he wants to present himself as the strategic business mind when he's really just kind of a sleazy salesman. He was in sales. Sell me this pen.
Yeah.
And he sold his way to the top. There's no
More,
reason he should have ever been picked to take that role.
no, and more power to him, dude. If you can pull it, be
If you can
political
super
enough
kick your
to,
way to the top, then I guess.
bruh. I don't want to break kayfabe, but you and I had this discussion. Well, not just this week, but hundreds of times in the last damn near 10 years.
The key is how do you bob and weave and not get hit by one of those 1,000 super kicks,
bruh. But that's I mean, you're on to something there.
So they're going back and forth, and Rick's pretty heated about it, and just like this clown was a clown kind of stuff,
But fucking fool.
And so at this point, I'm thinking, this is a work. Conrad's working.
To be clear, when you're telling me this at this point, I'm like, this is a work, dude. I'm not buying this
well, they're
nonsense.
going to StarCast in Australia, or there's some Top Guy weekend thing, or they're trying to set something up, and they've been working it since the roast.
It's not just that. I don't even look at it from that angle. I just look at it from the fact that, like, when people, what's the angle? Well, the angle is more ears on these podcasts. The other angle is, I'm assuming they got these things clipped on YouTube. So guess what else gets dinged every 2 seconds or more than that? You're getting nothing but clicks for these drops and sound bites and YouTube clips, and it's making money. I know, here's the thing. The controversy and the bickering makes money, whether there's a real fight or not in today's, Jesus Christ, Doc, I can't believe I'm saying this, digital platforms. The controversy of these two bickering back and forth like two old idiots makes money. It just does. That's how the world is set up now.
Well, after that,
oh, I feel like something's coming that I don't know about, that you haven't told me about yet, because I haven't been privy to this bickering.
Yeah, if that's the case, then Rick decided to draw some more money and make this a triple threat match.
Oh, what happened now?
He went in hard on JR.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he say about JR? Now I'm intrigued.
He said JR used to. Somebody was asking him. So it was on the recent podcast, somebody asked JR what he thought about Johnny Ace being fired. And I guess
I did see that.
JR was expected to take the high road, and he just said, look, that guy caused me a lot of anguish, and I hired him, and I gave him a chance, and he had a family. And the way he acted towards me, now he gets to feel it. So be it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Conrad asked Flair about his thoughts, Johnny Ace and JR, and he goes, well, I know them both, and I would have called JR my friend, but he lost all my respect.
Because of what he said about Johnny Ace?
Because of what he did on the dark side of the ring. He goes, they let some criminal come on that show and tell their story, but I never got to tell my story.
Oh, Flair didn't get to tell his side of the story on the plane ride from hell.
Yes.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, and he goes, that cost me $500,000.
Well, who's the criminal that they let on?
that lady, the flight attendant, she's been
Okay,
like, jewelry thief too.
refresh my memory. Did they say during that Ric Flair that they tried to contact Rick? I'm trying to remember if they even
I
tried
don't
to
remember
contact
that,
him.
but JR was kind of like, we probably should have done something, but he got away with it because he was Ric Flair.
Okay, so that's
And
what
Flair was mad at
Flair's.
him for saying that about him instead of
Gotcha.
sticking up
Okay,
for him. And was like, you cost me
so they've turned this
$500,000.
into.
We're
They've
supposed to
turned
be
this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we're supposed to be tight, and this is what you did.
So they turned this into a 3-way dance now.
And
Shit.
and then Flair being Flair was like, I know everything, and I know everything on everybody.
I mean, he's been around like I firmly believe when you live and work with folks, you really get to know them and you get to know them well in an intimate way, like not intimacy, but where you know folks. And I do believe like Flair probably has heard things and seen things that if he popped off at the mouth on, we might think he's just an old man yelling at clouds, but I think there would be at least some validity in some of those things that he mentions, whatever they are. I mean, just the odds say, would you agree the odds say he probably knows some things that wouldn't be, I don't want to say are criminal, but would folks wouldn't look too favorably if he popped the cork on some stories.
Right.
Not defending him, not saying the plane ride from hell. I don't. We already talked about that on our Patreon feed. So become a patron if you want to hear us review that. Because wow, what a episode that was. tinyurl.com/patreon_btt. But yeah, I'm not defending Flair here. I'm just saying, boy, he probably does have some dirt. Once again, it would sell if he did pop off. Maybe he's not trying to get in the ring. He's trying to get people to click. But go ahead.
So if we're working, I guess we're working a whole thing. And here's the other problem. I could say work, but we all know Flair's emotional.
Yeah, he's throughout the years has proven that.
And so it's possible that they were working at Bischoff and Rick angle, and in the middle of the pod, Rick just decided to start shooting. I don't know.
He definitely loves going off topic. Like I've listened to.
Well, they were supposed to be talking about Mean Gene on this episode of their show, and they never once talked about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when I've like watched a few of the YouTube clips from like his Madden show or just various episodes he's done, like they'll ask him a question and he'll start to talk about it, and then he's like Harper, dude. He's like a freaking bird that flies off into the ether and starts on a whole nother story. And you're like, wait, what what? It's like, what? Like, I mean, people that listen to us probably have heard like Teddy Hart on podcasts before and how his mind's just everywhere. It's not that bad, but they just don't have that attention span. They just fly off into another topic. And you're like, wait, what did we do to get here? And with Harper, we let him run with it because it generally leads to Bigfoot rants and, all kind of bullcrap. But, or just life lessons with him on who to date. It's weird, but I don't know. Flair's attention span, man, he just goes off on a whole nother topic. So I guess that's what happened here.
Well, I guess we'll find out. All I know is I'm sitting there listening to Conrad, and he's either working and squirming or he's really squirming because he's got all kinds of, he's got pods with all these fellas.
Yeah, see, that's the common denominator. That's the part that gets me. Not that people can't be friends with people who are beefing, because in my life, I say this all the time. If you got a problem with somebody that I'm cool with or okay with, that's your problem. That's not mine. Until that person does me wrong, I treat them fairly. I treat them well.
Or crosses some pretty big lines.
Or crosses some big line. Like you don't see it, but I get this a lot on social media. man, did you see what such and such said? And it's a listener telling me what another listener said. I'm like, unless they cross some line of me from a moral standpoint, we're talking about like, this person said they want to kill puppies, or death to all women, or they're a womanizer or a woman abuse. Like that's something I'm like, yeah, that's foul. Screw that person. But if it's just like some just bickering thing between the two listeners, I ain't got time for that. Like
this over here, more than you always go, well, this is a politics free zone. More importantly, we're drama free over here.
Drama free.
The biggest drama we have is what
Harper
time,
time.
if we can get the superstar to pick up the phone.
So yeah, going back to not to get off topic, but going back to what you're saying, yeah.
This is how you deal with, this is our dealings with the superstar. Hey Harper, are we going to record tonight at 6:30 or 7:30? Okay.
That's his response. I don't think people get that. And me and Doc are like,
that's not one of the choices. That's not,
his okay responses are phenomenal. But the greater point being, like, I can be friends and acquaintances with people who may, unless there's a moral line they cross with me and my family, or just some philosophies that I believe in. You ain't gonna sit there and brag about beating your girlfriend and I'm just cool with it. Like,
so you're not friends with Ezekiel Elliott.
No. So that, but if it's just beef, like, I can see Conrad just, he's the middle person, like, whatever. He ain't the one that did none of this stuff.
He's the middle person and he's a relative now.
That's the like conflict, I guess you get.
So
into.
Flair says, Bischoff says he's close to you. He goes, every time I run into Bischoff, he says how close he is to you and my daughter. And I'm like, why?
Wait, who said that?
Flair said that. Every time I talk with Bischoff, Bischoff tells me how close he is with y'all.
Oh, how close he is with Conrad and Conrad's wife, which is Flair's daughter. Okay.
And Rick goes, so Conrad, was he at Thanksgiving? Which I don't understand. And Conrad's like, well, no, but he's always welcome, I guess. Talking about Bischoff. Right. And Flair goes, well, I talked to Megan, who was, watching TV while this fool was trying to fire me and all this stuff. And I asked her, I said, Bischoff tells me y'all are close. What's the deal there? And she's like, don't listen to him.
Oh, the daughter said that. Okay. Oh, man.
So the family dynamic makes the work real complicated.
I guess, but even then, you're talking about a daughter who was raised around the wrestling business, and she knows how it works, and she is not immune to, ignoring a work. She can be involved in a work. She might not be a worker, but I'm not saying it's a work. I'm just saying, like, you and I have had this talk a million times. My radar is always up for if something is quote unquote really real. And that's where I'm at with this one.
Okay. I think that's fair. Flair seems, and here's the other thing. Flair seems real worked up. Maybe he doesn't know it's a work.
That's the other part. Sometimes you don't tell somebody.
I mean, you only need to tell one person in a boxing match.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
We'll continue to track this story.
Cover the event.
Yeah, we'll continue to use our special industry insider position and privilege to cover something.
So let me ask one thing and we'll close it out.
Yeah,
That way we can close out the segment for YouTube and for anybody listening. So in a nutshell, do you think that this is a work, or do you think, what's your quick synopsis information?
I think it is a work that's slowly turning into a shoot with Rick.
Yeah, I can see that
Eric
too.
may be trying to play along thinking we're working, and it turned into a shoot and he's not aware.
Okay. It's plausible too. That's the thing. There's no either or with these things, especially in wrestling. Because there are times when guys are like just having fun and busting balls, and it turns into, screw you, I want to fight you.
Right.
Like that. I mean, you see that on the mud shows, and it's just more intense on the higher levels. It is what it is, man. I mean, okay. So, good discussion. I really was curious. You've been telling me about this as we ate up the first 25 minutes of the show, but it was really good. Hey, so let's move along on that topic. I do need to give a shout out to our largest page contributors monthly, Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Mike Childers, Joe Ice, good old Justin. Thank you for your generous support on Patreon each and every month. It's greatly appreciated. And before I move any further along, I also need to talk about some 5-star reviews, because we didn't get any within the last couple of days on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, but we did get a couple on Podcast Addict. The first one from Jim Ship. I'm not sure who this person may be on Twitter or Facebook or social media, but Jim Ship, thank you very much. Jim says, best wrestling podcast out there, hands down. And we know there are tons of podcasts with big names. So thank you, Jim, for that resounding 5-star review. It is greatly appreciated. And then the next one, I don't know if this is from Silva that we know on Twitter or who's been on the show before, but we got one from Pepe Silva. Again, Silva's on Apple, so I don't think this is him, but who knows? It says the best wrestling podcast out there, even when the wrestling isn't that good, still worth the listen, and makes it better. Doc, we get that comment from a lot of people, like that they enjoy our takes on not only the good stuff, but the bad stuff, and how we are generally fair in our assessment of our old school wrestling that we really love. I mean, like you always say, and I say, we call it where, Doc? Right
down the middle.
Yeah. So you're probably listening to this show. So thank you to all the 5-star reviewers out there. Please send your 5-star reviews in or submit them. You can do it on either Apple Podcasts, which is iTunes, or on Podcast Addict as well. As long as it's a 5-star review, it will be read on the air. So thank you very much for your support. Look, nothing helps. Look, that doesn't cost you anything but a couple of minutes of time. So please do it. And while I'm saying that, retweet the show, share it on Facebook, all those social media platforms and digital platforms and all that good stuff. Hit that share button, hit that like button, hit that retweet button when the show drops. It is greatly appreciated. I don't plug the Twitter much, but it's at BTT_podcast. Last thing, Doc, we do have one new patron. He is Eugene W. Thanks for becoming a patron within the last week. It is greatly appreciated. Enjoy the pay-per-view that just dropped about a week ago, the Great American Bash pay-per-view. I think we were very fair in the assessment. We talk about that god-awful scaffold match in the main event as well with Barry and Lex Luger. And let me tell you, boy, talk about a schizophrenic pay-per-view, but like we always say, we call it right down the middle. You can become a patron and listen to that at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That is tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Great way to support the show. Get hundreds, probably up to 400 now, Patreon exclusive shows, including the video versions of these episodes that Doc and I do at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Doc, did we have one other thing before we got into this? I don't remember.
Yes, we do.
Okay, what is it? Hit me with it.
Well, so we had our big weekly prep meeting this week for the show, where we sit down for like 12 hours and lay out the show.
12 hours? We don't do 12 minutes.
Oh yeah. Well, you were on my ass.
I wouldn't say that.
About the lack of a Doc spotlight.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is yeah.
So, in an effort to cool your jets and get you off my ass, um, I guess I'm gonna award a spotlight this week to some fella. Well, and I've never heard of this guy, Chris Sapita.
You've said his name several times on this show.
Uh, you can't prove that. And I don't know who that is. But anyway, this fella apparently posted this picture in the Facebook group, I guess. And it's a picture of Johnny B. Bad coming down to the ring with his pink boa on, with his hands up like, "Hey, what's up, fellas?" And Teddy Long looking, like he just strolled out of Shishi's and has a lighter wallet now as a result. And the caption says, "When Mike Mills finally makes his way to the ring in Wildcat with hardbody Harper by his side."
That's foul.
Come on.
Grow up. I mean, seriously? This is what we're doing now?
Yeah, that's what we're doing because, you and Johnny B, nobody is more ethnically confused than, I mean, you talk about the 6-man tag of gender confusion. I mean, ethnic confusion. It's you, PN News, and Johnny B. Bad all on BET.
That was a funny post. He finally he posts like millions of things a day.
Oh, really?
From what I'm told. Yeah. It was actually funny. It was finally hit the nail and, had something funny,
Now, how do we know this fella?
He's been listening since the beginning. Like,
okay.
2015 beginning.
So how come I'm just now hearing of him?
Well, you've read 2 5-star reviews from him. One. Oh. So, yeah.
Okay. Well,
okay. Well, hey, we're going to save the 5-star relief for next week when Harper's supposed to be here. How's that sound? That's a teaser for next week, folks.
Ugh.
I'll make a note about that. We need Harper for that. Would you agree we need Harper for it?
Yes, because there's some questionable marketing going on there, and nobody breaks down the marketing of products like the superstar himself. He really engages himself in the marketing of goods and services.
Yeah, he's got a marketing. Well, he don't have a marketing degree, but for some reason he thinks he's a marketing expert. I mean, it's the damnedest thing we've ever seen. Okay, well, Doc,
what do you think he's doing right now?
Working, slinging pallets of stuff.
Do you think he's doing the veto thing where he's looking at the watch on a Friday?
No, because he scrolls Facebook and Instagram when he's not busy. Harper's a Instagram dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know
he's always posting memes on Instagram or sharing, and then he'll put them on Facebook too. That's his thing. He throws his bomb and then he runs.
Oh,
he'll post, he posts something controversial politically just to, dude. I'm amazed at how he just works up folks. It's so damn funny. I'm like, how do they not see that you're doing this? Because he doesn't comment generally.
Because people blow right by the common sense piece of it to the what can I be mad about?
That's it. I even commented, I said one time, I was like, you know what you're doing. And he literally posted right behind me, yeah, this is what I wanted. And people still just fall for it. All right. Okay,
you can
Doc,
work all of the people all of the time.
All the time. Are you ready to talk about the day after not the day after, but the show after the Great American Bash pay-per-view?
I guess.
Yeah, we are covering July 20th of 1991, Saturday night on TBS. Not a bad episode, but we'll get into the more specifics here. So let me hit the play button and I'll make sure. Oh, yeah, it is recording. So we see a replay of Elegante cutting Sullivan's hair in the intro, and this was from 2 weeks ago on Saturday night. I want to point out we're in Columbus, Georgia at the Municipal Auditorium there. This was actually taped on July 8th of 91. So the Bash was on the 14th. So this was taped before the Great American Bash. So the matches you see are all done before the Bash, and most of the interviews are pretty much, done, I guess, after the Bash. We step away to the green screen. We're not doing it on site. Doc, Paul Lee, and Jim Ross break down kind of what we're going to see today. Tell us what to look for. And on that note, we then go to the ring for the first match, which is Tom Zink and Robert Gibson versus the Freebirds, who are the U.S. Tag Champs. But we also get a sighting of I guess I'm going to call them a new tag team. The Enforcers, Arn and Larry Zbyszko, come out, and Arn is going to challenge the Freebirds to a title match if they win this match against Z-Man and Robert Gibson. Were you surprised at all by any of this?
Yeah, my timelines aren't going to be good with this era, so I wasn't sure when we're going to start the Enforcers. I guess now is as good a time as any. Are we going to get to listen to Arn talk to these fellas?
Yeah, I was trying to get to it because I think it's let's see. Hold up.
He's going to tell people, I'm looking around, I don't see a wrestler out here.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's get to Arn's audio.
Wait just a moment. Here come the Enforcers, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko. What's going on here?
Well, obviously they have something to say.
Cut that garbage off for a minute. I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is you two guys have an opportunity tonight before God and everybody to become the U.S. champions. But the bad news is if you do, you will have the shortest title reign in history. Because as I look at this traveling circus over here, the bearded lady, the human billy goat, and P.S. Hayes. I can only ask you, I see all of this get up and all this leather, but what I don't see a wrestler. I don't see a wrestler among you. If you can look in your manhood, give two real wrestlers a shot at those belts if you prevail tonight.
Well, we've got some problems here, fans.
Hey, the way I see it, there ain't nothing but air and opportunity, so let's either get it on or get gone.
Well, we've got some problems here, and we got a championship match scheduled. Fans, let's take a commercial break, and then we'll be back.
Okay, Doc. Boy, Arn is about that life here, man. He said, did he call Jimmy Garvin a bearded lady, or was he talking about Hayes?
No, he came back to Hayes. He didn't really have much for Hayes. He just called him PS. But he took a blowtorch out and covered the entire area.
Well, that's Arn for you. I mean, one of the greatest talkers there is. And that was good because, look, coming into this match, you're like, Zink and
what are we
Gibson
doing
versus the Freebirds, and well, you roll out I'm gonna call them a new tag team. I mean, we know who these guys are, but we've never seen Arn and Larry Zbyszko tagging as the Enforcers, and they come out and, hey man, we want a shot at them titles, and it makes it worth something because you now want to see what goes down. So on that note, what else do you have from the promo? And if not anything, let's go to the match.
Yeah, I mean, again, just an idea. Maybe we want to let this guy talk, on a more regular basis and not have it be in a 30-second inset box,
You're going to get your wish on that.
Perfect.
Him and Zabisco are gonna cut promos.
Okay.
I ain't gonna tell you it's every week but it's gonna be a lot more than what you've seen. A whole lot more.
Okay, that's fair. So I have a little nugget here for you that you might find very difficult to believe.
Oh, please tell me. Now I'm intrigued.
Robert Gibson and Tom Zink are the same age here.
That's hard to believe, but believable at the same time.
Now, they're the same age, not just here all along. It's just they're not the same age now because Tom Zink passed away.
Well,
but yeah, they're the same age here.
How old are they?
Like 31, 32, I think. They were both born in 58.
Gibson looks every bit of
40.
39, 40.
Yeah.
Well, Gibson's had a hard life on the road in that rock and roll van, man.
Is it a hard life or is it a good life?
Depends on if you it just depends. It depends on your thoughts on
okay, I have a
sex and
question.
minivans.
Do you think it's right now it is 10 a.m. on the East Coast of America.
Mm-hmm.
Where I presume that Michael Hayes lives.
Yeah, I would think so.
Do you think he's moonwalked today already?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think he's sung Bad Street today already?
Yes. Let me tell you my logic.
Okay.
Today could be 12:01 a.m. today, in which case Hayes was probably up, moonwalking and singing Bad Street.
Okay.
At some point. Point.
Yeah, that's kind of my point here.
Mm-hmm.
My other thought here was just 1 week ago, less than 1 week ago, Gibson was hobbled beyond belief in a long match where his knee was targeted. And we've seemingly just forgotten that.
Well, remember, this happened before the pay-per-view, too, but it's being positioned as after, so okay. I hear you. Everything was airtight, brother. It's not like they explained to the TV audience that this was taped. I'm saying it was taped July 8th. The TV audience, unless you were there, you might not have known.
And so maybe at the pay-per-view, we should have had the Enforcers versus the Freebirds.
It might have been better than what it was. The problem is you still mess up continuity because you don't have.
Well, if this was taped before, you could have shown it before.
Yeah, well, that would have thrown off a lot of stuff because everything here you could. This is how they did it back then. I mean, it's kind of easy for you and I to rip it, but I mean, I'm not ripping it. I don't think you are either. But
this
kind of giving a different perspective.
A long match.
Oh yeah. So let me just kind of break things down, and I'll go to the finish. Well, when the match finally actually gets going, because the bell rang, but they kind of just slow and they milked it, and the Freebirds did their heel thing and whatnot. When it finally gets going, there's lots of Freebird suck chants, and the fans. I'll give this crowd is loud. They're behind the Z-Man and Gibson. And Gibson and Z-Man do the old switcheroo tag with the ref's back being turned, and it gets some really good loud reactions. The heels are crying and whining. When you say it's a long match, I mean, we're almost 30 minutes in before they go to another commercial of a 2-hour episode. So it was extremely long. This ate up essentially the first 30 minutes of the show, which I'm not complaining. But to Doc's point, they gave us a lot here. Do you have anything, Doc, as far as timestamps before we get to the actual finish of this thing at all?
I don't.
Okay. They worked slow. It was very, very much old school, very old school. Mm-hmm. So the finish is there's a hot tag to Z-Man from Gibson. The match breaks down. Z-Man, he's in there going strong, bumping the Freebirds, all that good stuff. The Freebirds try double teaming Z-Man, but Z-Man fights back. And then on the outside, Dink hits Gibson, knocks him out. Z-Man, though, goes to save Gibson, and he lays out Dink, Big Daddy Dink, Oliver Humperdinck. Z-Man comes back in. He delivers a flying lariat off the top rope to both of the Freebirds. But then we get the Diamond Stud who comes out and saves the day. And as Z-Man is going for another finish here, the Stud pushes Z-Man off the top rope, and Garvin drops an elbow on Z-Man. Garvin and Hayes are going to get the win by pin. But I say that, they were pushed to the max here. Z-Man and Gibson had them on the ropes, even though they're not really an established tag team. And on that note, the Freebirds win. So then we'll
watch right here.
What?
Did Zink kind of kick out on the finish on him?
Yeah, like 3.05 he kicks out, but the pin did happen. Okay. I'm okay with that because I mean it was a cheating, like they got cheated, so it's fine. And it wasn't like Garvin hit his finisher, like it wasn't a DDT or anything. He just dropped the elbow on him after he fell off the ropes. Well, was pushed off the ropes. All right. Any other thoughts, Doc, on this? That's a nice bump by Gibson when he goes flying on the outside. Yeah. Really nice bump. God, he lands on that leg, though. That would worry me. Any other thoughts on it?
It was long, but it wasn't bad.
No.
I wondered legit if Zink and Gibson were going to win, but I think Gibson maybe. Is he got much time left here?
So this is getting a late 91, midnight. Not really. I mean, because he's on the first SMW taping, which is literally happening 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 3 months. Wait, I think it was in October or November of 91. So he's in the first match. So yeah, I think you're right. Gibson ain't long for what's going on here. That's kind of weird when you think about it, how we covered all of Smoky Mountain and we're literally about to bump up against the start of it.
I've thought about that too. Because there's guys that'll be in both at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not weird, but it's just interesting when you think about it, after covering that whole promotion. But I think you're right. Okay, so then we go to a replay of Luger and Wyndham at the Bash 91 for the world title. More on that on our Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Let me tell you something. We had a lot of fun discussing that match. I will tell you, Mr. Hughes and Harley Race got involved, and that's all I'll say for now. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Doc and Harper and I broke it down long form. Doc, any other thoughts before I go to the promo that I'm going to play now from Luger, and I think we got Harley Race coming up here. And Mr. Hughes, if you consider him, but he really wasn't talking.
Right.
All right, let's go to that promo now. Here it is.
You are looking at the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion, the Total Package, Lex Luger.
The Total Package has got a message for the rest of the world.
Exactly right, Harley. A shot heard around the world just moments ago. What we're talking about, there's no frivolity here. What we're talking about is a satisfaction and a job well done, a job long overdue. What we're talking about is the past right here has been forgotten. New history's being made. This is the dawning of a totally new era for the Total Package, Lex Luger. I have arrived. Get used to this face. Get used to this body, because there's nothing like it. The Total Package, Lex Luger, is going to establish a sphere of dominance the sport has never seen. Let this be a message to all wannabe wrestlers, all star wrestlers of now, all has-been wrestlers, because the Total Package, Lex Luger, has finally arrived. There's been an attitude adjustment, so to speak. Barry Windham received an attitude adjustment like any other wrestler who stands in my path. There's a new frame of mind for Lex Luger. The physical tools are always there. I just had to be made to believe in myself, in my abilities, and grab it by the throat. And that's what I did just moments ago.
Putting a man into a frame of mind is the thing that this man liked. It's there now. The Total Package is all together.
A
Paul, there's no doubt about it. The most coveted prize in all of sports is the WCW World's Heavyweight Championship. The champion will certainly have a long list of challengers coming for him.
Oh, yeah, now we see why the WCW Top 10 is so important, because look at all the contenders that are now gunning for the brand new heavyweight champion of the world.
One man that wants his chance for the heavyweight championship of the world is the awesome athlete from Florida State University, Ron Simmons. We'll see him next on TBS.
I like this version of Luger. I like this version of Harley with him. What did you think about this promo coming off of Luger winning the title?
Yeah. So they're sitting there cutting the promo, and there's all these flash bulbs, clicking in the background. It looked like amateur porn where they're like running a video but taking pictures for the magazine too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some girl's getting railed, and you can see the flash bulbs, catching all the action.
Railed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is what
impaled.
Okay. Fair enough.
Earning an honest living.
If it's illegal, I guess.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna need to see 2 forms of ID, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So I do too. I like the Luger. He hasn't presented a super duper heel persona, but they've done something different. What they're saying is we've put it all together for him. I liked Mr. Hughes with the York Foundation because I thought he worked as the muscle for her being Alexandra York. But I like him in this role too, and I like, he comes around the camera, comes around Luger and like pushes the camera like this shit's done. So
I agree.
I think, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that they put Harley with Luger because they didn't trust that Luger would get over by himself.
I don't know. I always think that Luger's heel promos and the conceited nature of them are better than his babyface promos, even though he's gotten much better as a babyface since we first saw him when he came in years ago. So I think Luger would have been okay, but as you asked that question, I also think that Harley makes it even that much better because he's got that gravelly voice and
a championship pedigree.
Yeah, you can't deny his accomplishments as a world champion as well.
He's got a college degree and a criminal record.
There you go. I mean, well, that's New Jack, but yeah. So, but I think that's the good part of what you see here. I think the combination of the three makes it that much better. Like it works for me.
Yeah,
for me, brother.
Again, if we're gonna do the unthinkable and tell Ric Flair to go away, we're doing, I guess, what ought to make happen in the interim, or the next step.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we'll keep moving now on that note, and we go to the next match, which is the All-American. They're building him as the All-American Ron Simmons, which I think is, I like this tactic that they're doing here at Ron, versus Greg Avery. Simmons, he's over as a babyface. There's a picture-in-picture. He tells Luger and Wyndham they had their shot at the title. Now he wants it, so this is the direction we're going to see now. And I just thought that the way JR talks up Simmons here, you're going to see a lot of this coming up in the future. Positioning him as an All-American. He did play at Florida State. He was a hell of an athlete. I really like what they're doing now and pushing Simmons now where they're going to go with him. I think this is good stuff. So thoughts on Simmons and Greg Avery here as Simmons is going to get the victory.
This is Greg Avery. I thought he was Fred Avery.
Well, everything was airtight, brother.
Gregory Frederick.
Airtight, brother.
Yeah, these matches were long on this show. That's
what happens when you get 2 hours of film.
I know, and so I thought it was longer than it needed. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and they're doing what they got to do. I thought I would have booked it so that Simmons made a little bit quicker work here. to continue to build up how strong he is.
It was around 5 minutes, but I know what you mean. You want to see him just come out there and just obliterate this dude.
55 seconds.
Yeah, I hear you. The old
And then
Magnum
talk
TA
some
thing,
shit.
right? That's right.
I mean, there's
Okay,
a formula here. We're not sticking to it, but it works.
Look, they started better. You had Arn in the middle of the ring cutting a promo on, Freebird. So
it works if you work it.
Exactly. All right. So then they go to the WCW Top 10.
Now, this is interesting.
Okay, why do you say that?
I like what Paulie said a little while ago after Luger's promo, that's why the top 10 is so important. He put importance on something. I like that.
Yeah, because why are you showing us the top 10 if it doesn't even matter? And I think we've probably seen it.
How much time in your little life you spent looking and poring over these rankings.
Jesus Christ. On PW. Hours. It's like, oh, I ain't got a PWI in a few months because, we didn't have subscriptions. So who's in the top 10 now?
In 1985, I had a subscription.
I didn't. God, I would have.
It was a Christmas present.
Given my left nut for a subscription to that back then. And this is the only reason I wanted to go with my mom to the store.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to the magazines. I'll catch up with you wherever you are.
Just leave me by the magazine so I can look.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
One time I did that with my grandma. She got all scared and confused and went to the service desk and they called my name. I was like, I was right where I told you I was going to be.
Bruh. Oh, man. Today's kids just don't know, man.
No.
And back then, the regular grocery store had the magazine aisle where you could, and they had the PWI.
A selection, bro. Because you probably read just some PWI and then moved over to Jet or whatever. I had, Rolling Stone or Spin.
Jet, okay. You're being funny now.
Ebony, is that one?
Maybe.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just trying.
The beauty of the week, man. Woof. All right, here we go. Let's keep moving.
Was it Lisa Turtle every week?
Nah. Man, I feel bad for her. She doesn't look too good these days. Lost Warriors we're talking about.
Is it because Screech ran through her?
Oh, God.
Hey, she outlived Screech. That's a good thing, right?
She did outlive him. Let's keep moving, though. So the top 10, Barry Windham is number 1 presently, but it's probably like that because we just came off the pay-per-view. And he did lose in a controversial fashion. Leave it at that. We keep moving, and we go now to the Enforcers. So we saw Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko a short time ago, cutting that promo at the beginning of the show. They're going to take on Johnny Rich and Scott Allen. Arn and Larry are going to win when Arn hits Scott Allen with a spine buster for the win. But what did you have before all that, if anything?
So we always make fun. So I want to give somebody some, like we say at work a lot of times, some kudos. I hate that word. I hate it too. How about you give me some cash?
Yeah, I don't want the kudos. The kudos are a way that you sons of guns are being cheap because you're not giving appropriate raises.
And it's great that you want to put me over, but I'm already over, and I already know I'm over.
Yeah, kudos don't pay the bills, brother.
Mm-mm.
All right, keep going. What were you about to say, though?
But I want to give some kudos. No pizza party, just kudos. Can't afford that.
Don't get me started.
Get you worked up into a Marxist lather.
Right. They went from giving bonuses during Christmas time to having holiday parties and Christmas parties at work that they used to pay for. Now they don't even pay for them. You pay for them.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I don't. Let me be clear. I don't. But I'm sorry. I got you off topic. Go. What were you about to say?
Anywho, I was trying to get you worked up, like get you on a Harper. Like, feel like I need to say something about the NBA now. Anyway, dude, they spelled Zabisco right. That's not easy to do.
I don't think people realize that, dude. Like, how do you mess up Arn Anderson and get Zabisco right? Not that they got Arn wrong here, but in the past,
standing there telling some production assistant how to spell it. No, now write this down. You know, I wrestled Bruno, so write this down.
Yeah.
And wait, I'm sorry. Where's the Z? Well, there's two.
Yeah. They got it right, though.
They got it right.
Unbelievably.
They just take apart this team systematically. They're very technical. They're going to be the 91 version of work a body part and get this thing done. I did like at the end when he hit the spine buster.
Mm-hmm.
When if you run that back where he hits the spine buster.
I'm trying to get to it now.
While he's doing that and giving his "that's all, folks" thing, Larry walks over and pushes the guy on the apron. So it's just a nice little touch at the same time. Like he's going to hit him, bam, that's all. And watch Zabisco walk over and just knock him off. As that camera shot was nice. And it's just, we're clearing house. We're taking care of things. This is a total victory.
They used to do that a lot. The heels, I mean, that used to be like a staple.
Well, it makes sense because it prevents the run-in.
Yeah. That used to be a heel thing for sure. Because what would happen is the finisher would get hit. The babyface would actually, if it was a babyface team winning, you'd have the guy, he would stand next to the pin, wherever the pin was happening.
Guarding the pin.
You know, square up, blocking the save. And if it was a heel team and they hit the finisher, they would go just shit can or hit the dude off the apron. I mean, it was a great thing that they used to do back then. But yeah, good move. Good heel psychology there. And like you said, they're the guys who are going to work the body parts. The next segment is Barry Windham. He's going to cut a promo, and we got to go listen to what Barry's got to say. Remember, he technically lost to Luger at the pay-per-view that you can hear our review of at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Remember, we don't have any ads on this show. We just have hardcore old-school wrestling talk, a little football talk, shenanigans, mud show shenanigans, outlaw mud show shenanigans. But you can become a patron and support the show at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT and get our review of the Great American Bash. Let's go to Barry Windham.
Or just give us a 5-star review so that we get our kudos.
Right. Let's go to Barry Windham.
So if you can only do one, become a patron. You know what I'm saying?
There you go, Doc. Especially now, the special is still running where you can get 2 months free if you sign up for the annual plan.
Well, here's what you need to do. Everybody loves when you start with that sentence, right?
Yeah, when you tell somebody what they need to do. Yeah,
Okay, let me help you out. Here's what we need to do. Is that better?
Sure.
I'll get in the boat with you. We need to do holiday or gift card like things. Because I guarantee you we got dudes that are like, man, I'm going to get a bunch of shit I don't want. And I really would want the broad to get me a subscription to the show. But the broad's she's going to resist that because there's nothing physical for me to get.
Just send her the link. Say, look, you didn't get me what I wanted for Christmas.
But I want you to open this. So, there's nothing to it. It's just a link. You can't open a link. So we need
open it all right.
Business card that says thank you for your subscription that you can put in a card that you can physically, the broad feels like she's doing something that she can hand our listeners so that they quote unquote get to. I'm not kidding here. This is a great idea.
It is. You need to call Patreon. Tell them they need to do this. We need to get Harper on it. Can you imagine him calling them? Yeah, I got an idea, bro. Here's the thing. Do y'all know anything about fucking marketing? Well, let me help you out, okay? Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying is,
I do.
You've run a deal. I like the deal. But again, we remember back in the day when we were doing business with a certain large online retailer, and we haven't ever really told that story on air. And this isn't the time nor the place. But we had to tell people you have to go get the person and take them to the computer and show them what to do. I feel like there's a step in this patronage as a gift that we're missing in order to make this work easier. So until we get that fixed, now I'm going to ask the listeners to do something. I'm booking the territory here this morning.
Okay.
I want you to get a piece of paper and write down on it BTT subscription, fold it, give it to your lady or your dude, whatever, and say, you can put this in get me this subscription for Christmas, or for my Christmas is over. So, but we're still running the deal post Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put it in a card so I have something to open.
Yeah, just make sure you put the link in there. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT.
You got to do the work.
That way they know where to go when they get that subscription for you.
I mean, I'll get it, but what do I do?
Jesus Lord, these women.
What happens next? Now, you just get it, and then can I listen with you?
Sure.
No, see, I listen to it. I'm doing stuff right now.
I don't know, bro. We got a husband and wife out there who listens to us together.
Is it while they're in their most intimate moments?
Nah, stop it. They're actually two wonderful people, great supporters.
I'm going to do the old Howard Stern thing.
I don't even know what that is, but John and Shani, I'll shout you out.
You don't know from the movie where Jenna Jameson, or the lady, puts the thing on, not Jenna Jameson, but she puts the speaker, she straddles it and turns it up, and then he does the...
You need Harper right now, because no, I don't.
Yeah, okay. So you don't make sure you put the... You don't think that these people have just... We're the soundtrack to... babies being generated?
No.
Okay.
No. Jesus Christ. Come on.
Why is that bad?
Can you imagine that? Oh, God. Why would anybody want to listen to us while, I mean, that idiot that's a Browns fan out there. I don't even want to say his name. Maybe him, but he's a weirdo. He's a freaking whack job.
Whack
that
job.
That, yeah, the wank master. Like him.
Come on.
Yeah. But no, let me tell you what that idiot said. I had posted on YouTube our AEW and corny discussion like a couple of weeks ago. I posted that clip on YouTube, and then I put it in the Facebook group, and I just put the link there. So hey, check it out. This is the link of that segment. And this dude's like, oh great, can't wait to hear somebody talk about something they don't even watch. Well, you freaking moron. You just commented on something you didn't even listen to yet. So listen to the pot call the kettle black, you buffoon.
Crunch.
He's a Browns fan. I mean, come on. He's a Browns fan. Fan.
He's got $230 million wrapped up in a massage. Come on.
Bro, I mean, he's a Browns fan and a Pirates fan. Bro, if that ain't just the mix of just misery, I don't know what is. So let's keep moving. Wait, 10 minutes ago, we were supposed to go to Barry Windham.
No, he's over here talking about how much he cranks off. He don't crank off at all. That's a lie, too, just like his teams are a lie.
Okay. Enough of that clown. I'm going to Barry Windham now, talking about, what just went down and pay-per-view and all that good stuff. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. Become a patron. Here's Barry Windham.
Back here on TBS, this is Paul E. Dangerously in the back with Barry Windham. And, sir, obviously nothing's settled at the Great American Bash.
What do you mean nothing was settled? I'll tell you what, when you get a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship, you go in there all out. And it really doesn't matter what the final outcome is. because you've had your chance at the World Heavyweight Championship, and if you didn't give your best, you shouldn't have been there to begin with. Now, Lex Luger, the times that I've spent in the ring with you have been some of the most memorable and some of the toughest. But the World Heavyweight Championship at stake should have been one-on-one competition. Should have been you and me. But I tell you what, I'll never turn my back on you again, because of the things that you're capable of, the things that I'm capable of, should have never figured into the game plan. Should have been you and me. And next time we step into the ring, the World Heavyweight Championship being at stake, you can be prepared for one of the toughest losses of your career, because I don't walk away from anything easily, Luger. And I'm going to walk out here in the ring right now and show everybody out there the way I feel about you and the World Heavyweight Championship. So just remember, you'll never see my backside again. You'll never see me walking away from you, because I know exactly what you're capable of, and I know where your head's at, pal.
Well, Barry Windham heading out to the ring right now. If Barry Windham's heading out to the ring, I think it's a good idea for you and me. And Jim Ross, for this one, you're on your own.
I really like that. He talks about Luger being tough, and he says it should have been between the two of us, as he alludes to, Harley Race getting involved. He didn't say his name, but I thought Barry was really great here. And I don't know what more you can ask for. It was a real tough, rough type of babyface promo from Barry, as he got screwed in his world title opportunity. Match. God, I sound like one of them WWE idiots. Doc,
championship opportunity.
Yeah, I hate that I said that. It's just one of those things you hear so often.
Crack at the strap, bruh.
Yeah, you got to crack at the strap. Okay. Thoughts on Barry right there?
Good. And, now he's out here to face Black Bart.
Wait, did you hear what Gary Michael Capetta called him? Desperado Black Bart.
That's right. He's a member of a crew.
Yeah, even though the Desperados are dead in the water, he's Desperado Black Bart. So I found it interesting, because last week they tagged him with one of the State Patrol guys, and now he was just like Black Bart, but he's Desperado Black Bart. Because I don't remember them saying Desperado last week. So anyway, everything was airtight, brother. Bart starts off the match with his friggin' cowboy hat on. Gotta love it. Let me go to you. This went on for a little while. Anything from Black Bart and Barry Windham?
Well, my question is Barry now a baby face? Because he's not overtly being a baby face, but he's facing a Desperado, and he got screwed. So is this a slow turn?
So one of the reasons I said it was a tough babyface promo, I mean the way he delivered it, it was, I don't want to call it Steve Austin-esque when Austin was a badass, but he was a face, because he's not Steve Austin, but it's like he is a de facto babyface, but he's rough and rugged in the way he delivers his message. And he wins clean here, so that's another way to look at it, what you saw. So kind of, sort of, I mean, it feels like, yeah, he's a babyface now.
Right.
Anything else from this one?
If we're going to have that heel champ, we need some contenders.
Yeah, we do. All right. Well, we'll keep moving. The next match is One Man Gang and versus Joey Maggs. There's some stuff on the commentary from Paul E. where he mentions Sullivan getting his advice from the Lady of the Third Eye. I thought that was kind of funny. We just saw Gang in a terrible match, no fault of his, at the pay-per-view. So it's just hard watching One Man Gang in this era, knowing how he just did pin me, pay me at the pay-per-view. But I don't know. You got anything from this other than Gang just beating down Maggs?
My only thought is that maybe after that embarrassing nonsense at the pay-per-view, they should have given Gang a week off of TV.
Well, he ain't long for the promotion at this point either.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly. This might be it. I don't remember exactly, but I think Gang he's not around for much longer. At least right now, I mean, I know he's in WCW, down the line, but yeah. Okay, after the match, they beat down Mags some more, and yeah, that's that. So, and then after the match, they go to a promo, and the promo is Gang and Sullivan because there's going to be a hair match coming up at the Omni. So they're still kind of like pushing Gang and Elegante. Did you have any notes from this? Sullivan talking about the lady of the third eye.
I mean,
I will say this. Hold on. I do want to play it now that I think about it because I just remembered something. But you were about to say something, so let me let you say it.
no, I was just going to say, if we're putting up Loser Leaves Town versus Hair, it's time to all get on the one-man gang train.
Yeah, listen to what Sullivan says here about a certain somebody and what they're going to do to him.
Kevin Sullivan.
Don't look so smug to me and all these people here. Just because he's 7'7", 450 pounds, does not make him the giant of World Championship Wrestling. This is the true giant because I know about Argentina. We just went to Casa de Agua and we met with the lady of the third eye, and as the gang and her bathed in the river, she told me this. She said the giant won't be flying home first class. The giant won't even be flying home coach. What the giant is going to be doing is flying back to Argentina in a cargo plane made from the tree that the one-man gang will nod down, and we're going to build you a big pine box. You're going back to Argentina, and in the Omni, let's real clear, it's you and the true giant of World Championship Wrestling. Long may reign the one-man gang. Ah!
All right, fans.
I mean, basically, Sullivan said, we're going to put you in a coffin and send you back to Argentina. We're going to put you in a pine box and fly you back. I don't
Hard
know.
to pay that off.
Hard to pay that off, and I'm just so not invested in anything that involves Elegante. That note, we go to commercial and come back, and we go to the WCW Control Center with Gordon Soley. And Gordon shares with us that any WCW title must be defended at least one time every 30 days. Since Scott Steiner is hurt and he and Rick Steiner can't defend the titles are being held up. And then we see a series of Steiner's highlights showing and emphasizing how badass they really are. And then Gordon recaps the ridiculously stupid, I guess, feud between Elegante and One Man Gang. So, I don't know. You got anything else from this, Doc? It sounds like we're going to have some world tag titles held up, and we're going to have to crown some new champions soon.
Am I the only one that looked at this waiting for misspellings in the bylaws?
No, of course. We were just waiting for this because I love how WCW Rule 2, Article 1, Section 1, they really position this as real. Like, I give them credit. I'm not bagging on them, man. They worked hard on that, and they spelled everything right, which doesn't happen.
How about you and Harper enter the U.S. tournament? I'll manage.
Well, let's get the Boogie Time Machine, and we can do that.
I'll roll out a vat, 50-gallon drum of ether. Just open it up and knock out the whole arena.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like a plan. I could live with that. All right. So we'll keep moving. Johnny B. Bad versus Larry Santo is the next match after commercials, and we get a picture-in-picture from Johnny and Teddy talking about PN News. Johnny calls News, once again, a big, ugly bear. Words not mine. The World Tag Title Tournament, we're told, is going to start next week. JR says, we'll have to see if this happens, the Hardliners, so Murdoch and Slater will battle the Freebirds in that first matchup. Stay tuned. And that's about it here. I don't have nothing else from this as he beats down Larry Santo. Doc, any thoughts on what we see here between these two guys?
I used to say it on the Smoky Mountain Show. Larry Santo always reminds me of a dollar store cane.
I don't remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Is it because of his height, or I mean, just how he looks?
His facials.
Yeah, it's not like we're watching this in HD, so I think I know what you mean. Yeah. Johnny B. Bad knocks out. He hits Santo with a big knee, and then he hits him with a knockout punch. And that is that. All right. There is a Sting promo after we come back from commercial. I am not playing it. Sting talks, and he repeats himself, and he says he's got Nikita on his mind all the time. I got Nikita on my mind all the time. I got Nikita on my mind all the time. And he don't really say nothing else, so there's no need to play it. He looks intense. It looks like he's ready for Mardi Gras New Orleans with that outfit. It's, Doc, you got any comments? I'm not trying to be mean. It's just nothing. I love Sting. That's the thing. I love Sting. It pains me when I have to listen to these promos, because I think he served a purpose. He was definitely for the kids. He wasn't positioned for our demographic at this time. You know, you and I are getting into our later teens, and it's just not. He's not for us. But these promos, I almost want him to howl every time. That way, I can at least laugh. But the ones where he just repeats himself, I got no use for. It does nothing for me, but I love Sting. I'll always love Sting. I think he's a good dude. That's the other part of it. He's a real good man. Yeah, I got nothing. So I'm going to keep moving unless you're going to stop me.
He was bad.
Very bad. Nikita Koloff is in a handicap match versus Tim Hughes and Mike Maverick. Remember, Nikita is from Lithuania. His tights, I believe, even seem to be reflecting different. You know, he doesn't have just the red singlet anymore. Anyway, Nikita's going to win. The fans, look, this is what I say about Sting. The fans are chanting, "We want Sting. We want Sting." So they're sold. They're into Sting. No matter how much we feel about it, they're into Sting. That said, Nikita is going to win. Double Russian sickle by Nikita, and he wins by pin. Doc, any thoughts?
Handicap matches are so, in my opinion, effective based on their simplicity.
Yeah,
one man beating two men is a thing, bruh. I don't care.
Yeah, even though, we're older now and get that would be kind of hard to do if the two guys really if the two guys were skilled professionals, and these enhancement talent, I guess, weren't. But there was always something to, you'd see Andre the Giant in the handicap, or Bundy, or, it was always something. They had a purpose. Look, here's the thing about the handicap match more than anything. The point of them, it made the guy look super strong.
Yeah.
You're not just beating one person, you're beating two. So I agree with you. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right. So we keep moving and go to commercial and come back. And we have Steve Austin with Lady Blossom versus a gentleman by the name of Jim Manning. I have a timestamp, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to play it or not. I'm going to get to it in a second, because Johnny B. Bad and Teddy Long, they end up joining JR on commentary. Did you catch that part of it, Doc?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me just play it. It's not too long. Here it is.
That is Theodore Arlong joining yours truly here at ringside as we watch Stunning Steve against a big 281-pounder. And gentlemen, I welcome you to ringside. It's rather unscheduled, but...
Oh, hush, Jimmy, hush.
I had to talk. It's my job. What's the reason for this?
Well, let me say something, Jim Ross. The beautiful Johnny B. Bad, the fashion plate of World Championship Wrestling, and the Godfather. We're out here just to take a look at the World Television Champion. We think he's an outstanding athlete, and we just like to take a look at him. How about that? Johnny, what do you got to say about the World TV Champion, baby?
Oh, I think Stunning Steve is so big with them big old muscles and everything. I think he's the greatest television champion of all time. He's such a big stud.
Well, I guess, yeah. Stunning Steve working on the arm of Jim Manning.
You know, Teddy, I just love Lady Blossom's earrings. I want to go inquire where she got those.
Well, let me say something to you right now, Johnny. Now, I don't mind you going over there talking to Lady Blossom, but now, you make sure you don't let her touch you now.
Hush,
don't
Teddy,
let her touch you. Okay, okay, baby.
He's going to go look, talking about her earrings?
Yeah, he wants to go see her earrings. We might have to get some of them.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Bro, I love this dude, man. This gimmick is so great because there were people listening to this show back then that were calling him the F and N word repeatedly, screaming at their televisions.
What are those words? Can you say them for me?
The heat that this dude was getting, he is, bro, this dude, you know how we say it all the time, like people that they don't really go all in on their gimmicks. He's all in. There's nothing that he ain't holding nothing back.
What's funny here
is,
first of all, Stone Cold is pretty, from accounts that you hear, pretty possessive in real life. He was with Deborah in the locker room.
Yeah. I've heard the stories. Yeah.
And then it's funny that this is Mero and him because Mero took some move, I guess, from China. That's when Stone Cold was like, I can't work with him now.
Yeah, I remember that story from Austin telling it years ago. And he was like, nope, I'm done. This ain't happening. Yeah. That's interesting that you bring it up about how he's out there messing with Lady Blossom. So let me just say what happens and we'll get back to it. So Austin hits this guy in the ring with the stun gun, but on the outside, Johnny and Lady Blossom are talking about earrings. And, well, Steve isn't happy. Austin isn't happy about what's going on the outside with these two. And, you know, he's just being kind of sweet to Lady Blossom. And that's that, right? So it's funny because Austin... Do you think Austin may have been worked into a shoot here?
No.
Yeah, he knew it was a work. But I think he gets, I think Johnny B. Bad gets the earrings from her, yeah. But he's talking to her about the makeup and stuff, and she's out there having a grand old time talking to Johnny B. Bad.
What a guy that will talk about things I want to talk about? Oh boy.
And man, Johnny is really leaning into it. It's tremendous stuff. But Austin wins rather easily with his slingshot stun gun type of maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. And before we get out of here, we do need to hear from Johnny and Teddy one more time. Here it
okay.
is.
Johnny, I'm anxious. And what did Stunning Steve have to say to you? That didn't look like he was too happy.
Stunning Steve got all puffy. Teddy just get all puffy at me. I don't understand. I was talking to pretty Lady Blossom, and he just seemed to get all puffy. I can't understand. I was just inquiring about her beautiful earrings and her nails and the color of her lipstick. It was so pretty.
So I guess maybe you can patch that up, Teddy. Apparently there's a little misunderstanding about the earrings.
No misunderstanding, Jim Ross. What it is, that Lady Blossom has some nice earrings on, and Johnny B. Bad likes them, and we might have to get some of them. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, thank you very much, gentlemen.
We out of here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget what a pair they are. Don't forget, come on.
Jim Ross. This is so good. All right. Doc, any thoughts on these two? I don't know why you hate it so much. It's like Brian, he is leaning into this so much.
It's not that I hate it. I hate the Little Richard aspect of it. And I don't hate it as much as I do when he turns babyface with it.
He's just leaning into this so much, man. I'm laughing now more than ever because I'm thinking about the demographics of the people watching this show and them seeing this man who is portraying a black gay professional wrestler. And I'm just thinking about now the reaction of some of the hillbillies at home watching this. They got to be thinking, every expletive, flying out of their mouth when he's on TV. And see, back then, people didn't turn the channel. They just kept watching and wanted to go to the arena to pitch stuff at him.
Well, that's also
curse them
something
out.
that Bischoff said. He said, get this. He said that the reason Flair never drew money is because Saturday Night didn't have the reach nationally. It was still regional cable access kind of stuff.
Whatever.
He doesn't know.
He don't
so he's
know.
just saying shit.
Did everybody have TBS? No. But you're just talking crazy at that point when you say it didn't. The reason the WWE, the reason it was one of the last two promotions is because it had the reach nationally on cable. Like, it was one of the reasons it stayed around so long. When every other little territory was dying. Okay. That is just an asinine statement by somebody who should know better. Mm-hmm. But again, like you said, when we were talking about it, he wasn't watching it when we were discussing it at the opening of the show. All right, so we need to rate it and hand out some Rolexes. Before we do so, I want to remind you, please consider becoming a patron, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. If your woman, your man, whatever you lay next to or don't lay next to, or a friend or whatever, didn't give you what you wanted for Christmas or the holidays, tell them to give you now the gift of Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Or, hey, you probably bought plenty of gifts for people and spent plenty of money on people. Go ahead and treat yourself to the gift of BTT Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Don't wait, because the sale is only going to be going on for another day from the time of this dropping of the 2 months free. It closes at the end of the year. So make sure you go to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT and get the 2 months free by going annual. If you don't want to go annual, you can go monthly. But again, it's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. And you can listen to our review, our Great American Bash Pay review that we just did, all the clashes we've done, everything on our Patreon feed, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. All right, Doc, let's rate it. Hand out some Rolexes. What are you going to rate this one?
How long was it?
It was almost 2 hours.
Mm.
Okay.
It's baseball season, man. I hate to see that's not, Where's Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz?
Braves must have been off this night.
Come on.
Or playing somewhere else, or playing on another station. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't like that.
It wasn't a bad episode, though. I mean,
no, it wasn't.
So what are you rating it?
Just trying to buy myself a little time there. I'm going to say a B.
B plus.
Oh, somebody likes the wrestling.
I was thinking about A minus, but I'll go B plus.
No.
B plus because of Arn and Johnny B. Bad, and we got Austin at the end there. We got some Ron Simmons, decent promos in it. Nothing like the studio back in the day, but good stuff overall. I mean, you had some stupidity, the whole Elegante thing, and that's still going on, and yeah, that's dumb. But I give it a B plus.
Okay.
All right, who you gonna give your Rolex to? I already know, but
yeah, double A, bro.
Yeah, it's easy, double A. Arn Anderson. He set this episode up from the beginning.
Yeah.
With that promo, and so Arn gets it.
Strolled in the ring and took down 4 dudes in a hurry. 5.
Yes, sir. It was great. All right, on that note, just a quick reminder, Harper, the holidays are almost behind us, but he is still doing his life advice, relationship advice, and video shout-outs. All you got to do is email him, chrisharper16, wildcat@gmail.com. That's chrisharper16, wildcat@gmail.com. Make sure you're very descriptive in what you send him as far as what you want in your video, and then make sure you PayPal him to cc30388cc@yahoo.com. If you missed any of that, check it out in the show description. It will be there for you. Also, check out Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn, the northern version of BTT. Slightly classier, definitely more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us, please support them. And check out the Bottom Line Cast with Mike Prue and JV as they talk about the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. They also do the ECW show on our Patreon feed. So there's that as well. Thanks, Mike and JV, for all you do. And shout out to the little fella Halfpint and Sparks for their NWA Power Show. I saw something on Facebook recently, Doc. Chris Zauncha posted on Halfpint's Facebook page, "Why weren't you at elf practice?"
Come on.
You know what that reference is from, right? The old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't even call it animation or cartoon. It was you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, and when what's his name? The manager of the elves was like, "Why weren't you at elf practice?"
Bro, y'all need to lay off a little fella. I mean,
as you call him, little fella. Come on.
But that's a term of affection.
Okay.
You know,
right.
A term of endearment. You know, he's got enough problems with those Titans trying to limp home, cross the finish line with that division over there.
I tell you what's sad about that is, even if they win the division, they ain't winning nothing.
They started hitting the RVD pose 10 weeks in and forgot that there's a whole, you ever seen that video of the goofy white kid that starts celebrating down the stretch and then loses at the end, at the finish line in the 400 or whatever? You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? He's like showboating to the crowd down the stretch, and then, yeah, that's what they're doing. You can't get caught by Jacksonville. Now, we're going to, this will have already happened by the time everybody hears this, but we're going to help the little fella out this weekend. We're going to take care of those Jacksonville Jaguars. Cowboys are going to pick them off and drop an L on them.
Bro, I think we got 2 games happening in between now and then. I'm trying to do the math on everything, but yeah, we'll see.
There's a lot of football happening, man. We're good. In real life, the bowl season starts in about 35 minutes, bro.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
You gonna watch some college football today?
I gotta go run to the store real quick, but I plan on it at some point. We'll see. I the Mrs. probably got some shit for me to do as soon as I
really. You need to go get some cocoa butter or something. What's up? Some lotion? You ashy? What's going on?
Wow.
Now, you're a huge college football fan, but so do you get into bowl season, or is it just like, it's just something else?
No, bowl season is cool. But the problem is there are too many of them now, so that's like the one issue that I have with bowl season. But yeah, I mean, bowl season is I got no issues, man. I like bowl season. Like, I don't know which one is today, or there's a couple. I say which one. There's a couple today. It sounds like your doorbell's ringing. Or some doorbell rang, something rang. The games today are meh. But we'll have some stuff on Saturday that I think I want to check out for sure. Like Cincinnati.
Okay. Now,
Florida's playing, I believe.
Yeah. So here's my question.
We got the Ponies this weekend too.
Hey,
New Mexico Bowl, SMU and BYU. Go Ponies.
Go Ponies, bruh. So here's my thing.
Too many bowl games now, though, bro.
I don't like the fact that your good teams in the playoffs have to wait like 3 or 4 weeks. It feels like, you ran the gauntlet and then you get iced a little bit.
Or it used to be worse than that.
I know. But what I would do, that's why you need that 16-team playoff, so that they could be running the playoffs and let these boo-boo the fools play in their little bowl games. But like this weekend, we're going to run the tournament.
Bro, you just made Mikey and DFW hot. He is vehemently opposed to a expanded playoff. He doesn't want to see 12. I know he definitely doesn't want to see
12 doesn't
16.
work because people get buys, or you need a divisible by, the work it down.
My problem, I kind of litigated this on Twitter, and man, a lot of people got mad at me. But my problem with college, so you know me well. I love college football. I think college football is just great. It's just I can watch almost anything, especially when the season's first kicking off. Bro, it could be Connecticut versus freaking Troy. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Anyway, my thing is, I think the problem you do run into is, and this is me again, who wants a expanded playoff. I don't know. You will end up with the same teams making it essentially to the Final Four almost every year. I think
but it's not about that.
I think Alabama makes it. I think Ohio State makes it.
But it's the money making process that gives people a chance.
Well, yeah, that's what the bookers and the bookers are eventually going to give into it just simply because of the money that they'll make. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll definitely talk more. But you're right. There is a lot of time, and it used to be worse when they used to play on the last week of the year. There was a time when there weren't any championship games, so they'd play like that last, Thanksgiving weekend of the year. Some of them would go a weekend after that, even before the championship games, and then you'd have a freaking national championship first week of January, man. You'd be waiting 5-6 weeks. Those teams wouldn't play for a month.
Why are you letting it cool off, man?
Yeah, man. It's I'm with you. But all right, Doc, on that note, man, we're gonna get out of here unless you got anything else. This was a fun episode, a fun ride. The Superstar should be back next week when we're back on our regular schedule. We'll see. But any other closing thoughts?
I guess I need to say Happy New Year to everybody. We're going to flip another calendar year on this thing. Damn.
Yeah, this is getting weird, man. All right, man. We'll hit the tagline. Happy New Year, folks. Y'all don't drink and drive. Get yourself an Uber or a Lyft. Or just stay home and drink and don't go anywhere, man. That's always a way to do it, too. Hit the tagline, Doc, and we can get out of here.
Book it, bitch.